You know the individual that can just walk into a room with such confidence with people that are way more important than themselves, that have way higher net worths than they do. And they walk in shaking hands, closing 6 and 7 figure deals. They'll hop on phone calls, send emails without even breaking a sweat. And when you do the same thing, you're sweating out your clothes, your heart's beating out of your chest, and you just wonder, how do they make it look so easy? Well, if you don't mind, if I could coach you for a second, what you're doing is you're operating based off of how you feel, not what you know. And I think that's pretty obvious. What you probably have done before, there's different things that you can do to get out of your head. Like take your shoes off, do some grounding, do some meditation, um, take a cold shower. Like there's all these different things to try to get in your body to be present, right? Well, if those things aren't working for you, I would encourage you to think of it in a different way. So, you probably have heard people tell you before, you just got to get out of your head. You just get out of your head. Here's the issue. Up here in your head is what's called a brain, right? So, you think with your brain. Now, here is the confusing thing, or the challenging thing, is you also have a brain in here called your little heart brain. Now, from that little heart brain, it operates very similar to your brain up here, except for it just doesn't think logically, but it sends these neurons throughout your body and communicates back to your brain. And your brain, you begin to believe these things, right? The way that you feel, and you start to make up these realities. So, this is what I would submit to you. Rather than getting out of your head, let's stay in your head and learn how to block those things out that your little heart brain and the way that you feel is trying to convince your brain otherwise. Now, it's easier said than done, but I know that it's possible. How do I know it's possible? Because the way that I got into fear management coaching, and now I coach entrepreneurs and business executives, but the way that I originally got into coaching people through their fear is through coaching gymnasts and cheerleaders in tumbling. Now, there's a lot of similarities between gymnastics and business. How do those two things correlate? Well, if you remember back in 2020, Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast of all time, she pulled out of the Olympics. You probably remember that, even if you don't know anything else about gymnastics. Now, why did she do that? Well, what she was experiencing is what's called a mental block, or a lot of times they call it the twisties. And what happens is a gymnast, on skills that they're able to do and they've been able to do for a long time, it's like they completely forget what they're doing. They don't really actually truly forget, like the knowledge is still here, but they feel like they don't know how to do it. And they feel scared to do the skill. Now, throughout my career as a coach who helps athletes through these extreme levels of fear, what I have done is I have taught athletes in those moments to learn how to tumble based off of what they know, not how they feel. And it's the complete opposite of what other coaches will coach kids to do, because they tell them, get out of your head. They tell them, don't be scared. Well, the thing is, I don't know if anyone's ever told you this before, but if you're nervous or you're scared going into a situation, someone tells you, don't be scared, even if it's from a good place in their heart, that don't work. That don't change anything, right? So what I teach people to do is to operate based off of what they know, not off of how they feel. And there's some very specific things that you can do to get to that place and to where you have the ability to operate based off of what you know and not how you feel. I appreciate you giving me a minute to coach you, and I hope to talk to you soon.